Alright guys, we're going to try this again. Yesterday the video didn't finish out for one reason or the other, so today we are back doing another one. So we already got our parts pulled. I'm actually going to be using one of these kits here that I make. The only difference is I've already got the parts pulled, sitting over onto the corners here just out of the camera view. So here, let's lay those up here so you can kind of see them as we're going along. If we can get our fat fingers here to work. So essentially this is all the components needed to go ahead and put this in. So Lee, this is actually your frequency counter. If you pop in to actually watch this, this one's actually yours, big guy. Let's see if I can move that a little bit more so you guys can get a little closer look as I'm doing this. But anyhow, like I said, this is what we're going to be working on here today, and putting the new parts in, and then go to the next stage on our Cobra 2000. So because of the fact that this one is going over essentially overseas, because it's going to Hawaii, I'm actually going to go a couple little steps further on this one, and I'll kind of explain while I go along why I'm doing this. The reason why I'm actually going to completely disassemble this one is since it is going over there, we've got a lot of salt water and a lot of high humidity. So I want to go ahead and clean everything, and once I get everything done, I'll actually go back and I'll reseal the component side, or the solder side, and I'm actually going to go ahead, before it gets put back into the case, we're actually going to clean the case, polish it up, and we're actually going to seal the metal as well. Now on the top side, I've already went ahead and removed the top side. This is the bottom, which is still nice and shiny as far as that goes, but it's had metal on metal contact. The inside, there's a little bit of rust on the inside of it, so we're going to go ahead and clean that rust out, and go ahead and preserve the metal there again, to go ahead and take care of the elements, or help preserve this because of the type of elements that we're going to be dealing with. So handy dandy wrench out. That going to the extremes that I'm going to is not usually necessary. Like I said, the only reason why we're going this particular route today is just for one reason, and like I said, that's just because of where this one's actually going to. So, like I said, we want to try to go ahead and nip everything we can in the butt for this gentleman, so there's no problems years down the road. We've got 4 tabs here that are actually soldered to the main board of the case together. So that's what I'm doing right now is I'm actually heating these up so we can go ahead and pull the board completely off the case frame. So I'm actually just using mild pressure. We're going to pull this down a little at a time. I really need to use my other soldering iron, which would be a little faster. Okay. And there's some more here, so we're going to go ahead and fire up the big girl. And it's not going to take too awful long for it to heat up, so so while we're waiting on that, we're going to take a little blue magic. See if we can't work just a little bit of the rust off of this since it's real mild. Fretting it up a little bit. More than anything, we're just trying to remove the light rust. Like I said, we don't care since it's on the inside and it's not going to show. We're not going to get real radical with it. We just want to try to make sure we get anything that's potentially loose as far as particles and everything, and get that all polished out of there. And we'll go back and we'll clean that. We've already got a couple little spots right in here where we can already see that it's trying to get some of that off. Like, I'm not going to get real radical with this, mainly because I could spend an hour and a half polishing this. So we're not going to do that because that's not going to really be seen by the customer. We just want to get the metal preserved. So we'll finish the cleanup on that. And I'll actually use a coating on that. We'll recoat that steel. Doesn't look like we've got anybody popping in there yet this morning. And like I said earlier, guys, I sell this service pack online. So you can go on my eBay store and pick these up. Like I said, everything that I've got laid out is exactly what I'm getting ready to put in. So 525 is actually a 1 UF cap. We're actually going to put that one in here first. And now, since our other soldering iron is now heated up all the way, we're going to go ahead and try to take this loose as well. Here's where solder wick works out really well because I can't get my desoldering station in there. And I'm not expecting to get all the solder off, just the large amounts. That way it'll make it a little easier when we go to pull this apart. Okay. Okay. Now that we've got that all taken apart, now we're going to go back and clean that board up real good. All right. Make sure he's got some new heat sink compound on this. Put some new insulators in it. All that good stuff. Now, what's amazing, guys, is this one here. This is the tantalum capacitor. This one is This one is probably the most widely missed whenever it comes to recapping a frequency counter, and it's actually one of the most important caps in the entire frequency counter. But because it doesn't look like a standard electrolytic, people overlook those. It's one of our 22 UFs. Which is in location 501 marked on the board. We'll go ahead and solder these connections here on this one IC because they look like they're cracked here on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and touch those all up too as we go along, just to make sure that we don't have any issues later down the road. that could have been avoided by 5 minutes worth of work. All right, so we've got one that sticks like that. Yeah, these frequency counters, the way they've got these set up, guys, they actually use through hole pins in order to connect the top to bottom. Um, so essentially, whenever you go to unsolder the parts, you actually have to wick the solder all the way through to the other side, because where there's like a small little cylinder that goes up through each one of these in order to connect. For example, right here, this is the positive side. It actually also connects on the bottom side as well for current. So uh, bear that in mind whenever you're doing these. So don't get crazy and start yanking, because you will actually damage the circuit board. Okay, next one here. All I'm doing to find these locations, guys, I'm just looking at the patterns up on the top and then look at the pattern on the bottom to match up, so that I know what places to actually unsolder. It doesn't always work that way, but most generally you can get by doing it that way. Some cases you can hold it up to the light. Unfortunately, these boards are so dense that light just doesn't shine through it that well. And as you replace them, guys, like I said, make sure you really pay attention to your orientation of these parts. Otherwise, you could have some serious issues. All these capacitors are 10-volt caps, and we're actually replacing these with 25 and 50 volt based on the value. Like these small ones. These small ones are 10 volt that we're pulling out, and we're actually putting 50 volt back in place. So 535, and I didn't look to see what that was, so we'll look at our little chart here. $535, so it's going to be a 22 UF. Looks like 2 more caps and then the diodes, and we'll be done with this baby. Trying to remove some of that old glue that they've got down in here on some of the components. Get that scraped away. Unfortunately, that stuff is very corrosive and causes parts to fail as well. Okay. This one's barely got any solder on it, so I'm actually going to go ahead and build that up. That way I know I get enough liquefaction to pull the part out. Now we are streaming this in a live format, guys, so that way it'll also kind of give you an idea time-wise what it'll take. Now, chances are, unless you've got a desoldering station, it's going to take you considerably longer than what it does me. So bear that in mind, but this gives you an approximate idea how long it's going to take to actually do this. That one just fell right out, which is great. That is a 1/2 watt 5.6 volt Xenier. We are replacing that with a 1 watt because this is the most troublesome spot in the entire frequency counter. Besides the capacitors finally just giving it the ghost over years of use. And we got one last part, which is just a protection diode, but we're going to replace it as well. And again, pay attention to your orientation, because if you put the diodes back in backwards, chances are you'll wind up scrapping these. Alrighty. That's it, guys. Other than putting that back into the case, like I said, we'll clean up this, get rid of some of all that smoke and whatever else from the transistors. Just years of use. Like I said, this one's not near as bad as the last one I did yesterday, but even at that, we're still going to clean this all up, polish it up a little bit, reassemble it, and get it back in the radio and go to the next phase of it. All right, Lee. Well, hopefully, that was a little bit of help for you guys out there. Lee, like I said, this one is actually yours. So I'll be posting this here on my page if you're not on my YouTube channel. I'll post it on the Facebook page. That way you can actually kind of see a little bit of the progress going along with your radio. Like I said, it's a slow process, but it'll be worth it in the end. All right, guys, I appreciate your time. Hello, hello, hello. I'm not sure who you are, but hello. Oh, that sounds like that's Bruce. All right, buddy. Guys, like I said, appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Like I said, I'll upload this here a little bit later on the Facebook page, so you guys can kind of see what's going on. But all right, everybody, have a great one.